You're listening to the Honey Guess What podcast. I'm Dan.
And I'm Bryn.
And special episode tonight. First off, special because I haven't seen you guys in a couple weeks. So, good to see you again. Good to be doing this. Second, also special because we're doing some fundraising / telethon type work tonight.
I like buzzwords. I like to call things that they're not necessarily. I don't necessarily think we're a telethon. We're not expecting people to call in or anything.
We're a live-a-thon?
We're doing this live on Facebook. We should say that for our other listeners.
Mm-hmm.
If you're listening to this after the fact, there will still be the opportunity for you to donate and get in on the prize. We're still figuring out exactly what we're doing here. But for those of you who are joining us live on Facebook, you will be able to play in real time, so to speak.
Yes. We were kind of compelled, obviously, with current events going on. Knowing, if you know who we are, you know that this is really important to us. A lot of people are heavily affected. We're fortunate for a lot of reasons, but we aren't having to deal with a lot of this head-on in the front lines, but we still want to help. And so we recognize the importance. We recognize that people need to be heard and have the support of those who cannot be out on the front lines.
We made a very conscious decision to do this broadcast this way tonight. Though we focus a lot on history, we had kind of moved away from current political topics because it's not what we enjoy talking about. And then with all of the COVID thing, we also made a conscious decision to step back and not talk about that because we wanted this to be a light, fun place where we could talk about other things and kind of escape from that. This is not something that we think people should be taking a step back from, escaping from. So this next half hour to an hour, we are going to be talking about other topics. So it's not all we're going to be talking about tonight, but it is something that we do want to put our emotional and monetary focus toward. So that all said,
we've, hope you don't mind me saying, we've made donations ourselves, and so we want to continue that. We want to do more, and this is something that we realized that we could do. I was part of another podcast just last night. It's the Electric Dice podcast.
Shout out.
Check that out. It's a bunch of us nerds playing Dungeons and Dragons, and it's a lot of fun. But during that, we raised a fair amount of money for charities as well, and so we did that. And we were talking today, we're like, why not do this on ours as well? And it helps.
So here's kind of the broad strokes. What we're going to say is during our broadcast tonight, and then probably throughout the next couple days, we'll set a definitive time limit on that. While you're listening to us, if you could make a donation personally to either the NAACP, Black Lives Matter, or a bail fund of your choosing, and then screenshot us your receipt or something to prove that you made the donation since listening to this, we will put you in a drawing to win a super cool t-shirt that I designed, basically the Honey Guess What logo and a silly saying. Our friends started a podcast and all I got was this stupid t-shirt or whatever, something to that effect, to be put in that drawing. Any amount that you can give is worthy of being entered. If you are not sure where you want to donate to, or you trust us to make that donation in your name, you can Venmo or PayPal to one of us and we will make the donation for you and you will still be entered. So did I hit all the things?
The biggest problem is if you feel compelled and you want to help, we will find a way to let you do that.
Right.
We want to be a gateway for you to do that.
And if there's a local charity or charitable foundation that helps people of color in your area that we are probably not aware of, that you would feel more comfortable donating to or feel more compelled to donate to because they're a local one to your area, that's absolutely okay. Just shoot us a message or, again, the screenshot of your donation so that we know that you're donating.
Mm-hmm. So with that, thank you all for listening. We'll get started on our regularly scheduled programming. Now,
And then probably we will check in to thank people who are making donations and to talk about how much we've raised throughout the evening. So
sure. So, first, I guess we should figure out who's going first. We didn't discuss that before.
I'm going to say not it. So here's the thing. I've done zero research.
Oh boy.
I barely have a topic. I pulled up a page on the internet on my phone that is almost dead. It's not on Wikipedia. It's
Okay.
it's like an article from like Entertainment Magazine. I only read about a quarter of it, so I'm really flying by the seat of my pants.
Nice. To be fair, you were designing a t-shirt.
Yeah, which was not really a lot, but
Well,
then I was also playing a Facebook thing, like in a Facebook party for a direct sales company.
you know, I've tried to give you a few different outs here, and you just gotta.
I'm just a procrastinator.
I mean, you could just take one.
Yeah, I'm a procrastinator.
Okay, well, this is going fine. Everything's fine. So I guess I'll go first then.
Please.
Um,
And I mean, go ahead and take as long as you want. Talk a lot. Go off on tangents. We love it.
okay.
I am going to pull up our page though on my phone while you're looking
Sure.
that up, because I know we sometimes miss some of our
Comments, yeah.
All right, so that's up now.
First off,
what
are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking buttermint tea
Mm-hmm.
with honey.
Mm-hmm.
What are you drinking?
I'm drinking an Irish breakfast tea.
You love Irish breakfast
Love
tea.
Irish breakfast tea. I don't know why. It's so great.
It's so funny because I had never had it before.
Mm.
And I've had English breakfast tea, but it's definitely just enough different. It's its own thing.
I considered weeks ago when I started on my tea kick doing a podcast all about tea. I've spared you all. You're
you
welcome.
already did one on honey.
I already did one on honey. And I've spared you all from tea.
He's really obsessed, guys. That's not a joke.
Bad.
He's really obsessed with tea.
Yeah, there's so many good ones. And so many not great ones.
This one's excellent. I know you're not really into mint.
But
I had peppermint last night, and it was kind of strong. This is a much softer mint. I'm enjoying it.
Good to know. So, let's start. Mine's going to be kind of biographical for a short bit, and then it's going to go more into a specific part of this person's life. Okay?
Perfect.
So, we're going to go back up to the top here. I got this information mostly from Wikipedia. There's a last little quote that I'll get to at the end that I got from biography.com. Okay. So, this is all about a person who was born January 19th. Pretty good date, right? Close to.
Sure, we like our January birthdays.
Like our January birthdays. She's an American singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist. Don't cheat. What?
Go ahead.
You didn't?
I don't know yet. Go ahead.
No, we did it.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Record producer. Actress. Author. Oh, we did it. Businesswoman. And humanitarian.
Okay.
She's known mostly for her work in country music.
Oh, mine's pop music.
Yikes, that was close.
It's super close.
Oh boy, 1946.
Mine's a little more contemporary.
Okay, this person was born in 1946.
Is it Dolly? Is it Dolly?
So,
did you pick Dolly?
I picked Dolly Parton.
Yay! Kennedy's going through a little phase where she's kind of obsessed with Dolly Parton.
That may have influenced me.
She guesses when she hears a singer on the radio. Is this Dolly Parton? Is this Dolly Parton?
No, it's Kesha.
No, it's usually country songs that she asks.
Usually, but so let me go down.
Oh my god, I can't believe we both picked singers tonight.
Yeah. So, obviously Dolly Parton, well-known name in country music, has a plethora of accolades and awards for her music.
Mhm.
She also is in the elite club that she has been nominated for all 4 of the major awards: Oscar, Emmy, Tony, and Grammy. EGOT. I could have done them in order, and that would have helped.
It probably would have.
But she has been nominated for all 4, so she's in a very elite club.
We haven't gotten to that episode of 30 Rock yet. That's why you're not laughing.
Oh, okay.
There's a EGOT episode.
I'm guessing Tracy wants an EGOT.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, there we go.
We'll get there.
All right, so she has done all of that wonderful work over the course of 5 decades in the music industry, or more. She's in her 70s now.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that would be absolutely enough to be an absolutely incredible lifetime of success. But I'm going to focus on her philanthropy.
Yay! Dolly Parton Imagination Library.
That will come up.
That's my favorite.
So what
we had talked about that recently.
We kind of had. And so, spoilers, we'll be talking a little bit more about it now.
Spoilers.
So, let's see. Let me get to her philanthropy page that I have saved, because I did my job.
Did not.
That wasn't a slight, I was just proud of me.
I did not.
Sometimes it comes across as like, it's like, oh, you know, just patting myself on the back, which is actually all it is, but it has nothing to do with anything anybody else. It's like, no, I need that. So, we're going to start actually talking about the Imagination Library.
Perfect.
Dolly Parton's Imagination Library is a free book gifting program started in 1995 by Dolly Parton. It's based at her Dollywood theme park. And the area where she was born and raised, it started out that in 1995, it's a free, age-appropriate book each month in the mail until the age of 5 for all children in that area. That was her goal. Mm-hmm. Regardless of family income. So that was the big thing, is that it was not based on income. If you want your child to be part of this program and you're living in that area, you sign up. She sends them a book.
If you're old enough to remember, like, there was a lot of information about literacy and starting literacy at home very young. It's where all those stats came about, like how many books children should have read by the time they get into kindergarten. Like that stuff all happened at the end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s. Mm-hmm. And so there was a really big push nationwide for more literacy. And in this case, Dolly focused on her hometown, which she knew was a lower income town and a town in which there were not as many books in children's homes to start this program.
Right. So, in 2000, so she started this program in 1995. 5 years later, in the year 2000, the Imagination Library became so popular that Dolly announced that she wanted to make the program available to any community that would partner with her and support it locally. The program has since expanded to over 1,800 local communities in the US, Canada, Ireland, and the UK.
Wow.
The program can be implemented in other communities by private or public non-for-profit organizations, and the foundation is responsible for the distribution of books in those participating communities and the database that manages the children's information. In 2018, just 2 years ago, Dolly Parton celebrated the delivery of the 100 millionth book since the inception of the program. So, 1995 to 2018 is 100 million books had been gifted to children.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. And she hosted an event in February of 2018 commemorating that milestone, in which she held a story time to children that were attending the event. The Imagination Library currently sends roughly 1.3 million books to children every month. and it has drastically improved literacy for the children that are involved. I want to get down, skip around a little bit. Okay, here we go.
But just wait, can I just say one more thing about the
Yeah.
Imagination Library? If you have children under the age of 5, go onto the website. It's imaginationlibrary.org, I think. Just Google it. But find out if a community the community that you're in or a community near you offers it, and get your child signed up. They're amazing books. To come back to our raison d'etre, there are a lot of books that focus on social issues, and from varying authors and those kind of things that are perfectly age appropriate and free to your children.
Mm-hmm.
Get your children signed up because these books are amazing.
Mm-hmm. So when the Imagination Library reached its 100 million total book distribution mark, Dolly announced that she would be awarding a scholarship to a participant in the library's program. In November 2016, she had granted a $30,000 scholarship to a 2-year-old girl, one of the library's new participants. The little girl was announced as the winner during the one of her tour dates in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, which is her hometown. The money was placed in an account that will hold the money until the girl enrolls in college. The scholarship after the 16-year wait will amount to nearly $50,000. I'm jumping around in time a little bit. In 2006, the Imagination Library had spread to 471 communities in 41 states, so it was gaining ground at that point. And that's when they had really focused on giving out scholarships. In 1991, also, earlier even, Dolly Parton launched the Buddy Program, which you had actually mentioned to me at one point. The Buddy Program made it so children in her hometown would sign a contract with one of their friends, one of their classmates. And if both students completed a high school education, they would both receive.
Graduated.
She would hand them a check for $500.
Right. And it like totally changed the graduation rate.
Yes. The Buddy Program caused the dropout rate, it was up in over 30% in her hometown. The Buddy Program caused the dropout rate to go down to 6%, and kickstarted her community into creating initiatives to keep kids in schools. Awards were also awarded in areas of music, academics, and environment. Speaking of environment, we're going to drift away from the Imagination Library for a second, because she's also done some work for environmental and other humanitarian. And so we're going to skip to that.
All these different pages you have. He's like so organized.
No, I'm. It looks impressive. Okay, here we go.
Babe, I'm about to read you guys a listicle
So,
that I haven't even read myself. You're doing fine.
So I can't find it right now. But she has also done a lot of work for environmental charities, and she has donated to. She was a big part in helping recover the population of the bald eagle in the United States. Recently, in November 2016, 2 teenage boys were charged with setting a fire in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. We remember wildfires.
Mm-hmm.
Wildfires in California. Obviously, if you are in California, you're aware. But every year, wildfires are a problem. This was not necessarily just a wildfire, but it was human set and caused. Known as the 2016 Great Smoky Mountains wildfires, which killed 14 people and burned down thousands of homes and businesses. The death toll included 2 children and a woman who died escaping the flames. Dolly Parton gathered her Dollywood companies, Dolly Parton Stampede, Dolly Parton's Lumberjack Adventure, Pirate's Voyage, and Dollywood Company, and joined together to establish the My People Fund, which ultimately donated $1,000 a month to all families who lost their homes in the fire.
Wow. Wow. She's amazing.
Yeah. Those collecting charitable donations from the Dolly Foundation could collect their funds for up to 6 months. So, back in, $1,000 a month is crucial. I mean, if you're displaced, you can
Mm-hmm.
pay your living, a good portion of your living expenses, in addition to social services, can really make or break you. Currently, anyone can still donate to the My People Fund, which I believe is still active. Um, and any family whose primary residence, renters, or homeowners is a complete loss or is uninhabitable due to wildfires in Sevier County are eligible for charitable donations. There've
That's awesome.
been corporate donations from Verizon, Tanger Outlets, her goddaughter Miley Cyrus,
Mm-hmm.
and Core Civic and the Blaylock Company. The My People Fund has helped more than 900 families and has raised over $9 million. So I'm going to pivot back to literacy for one thing, and that's the last thing that I will talk about. So I struggled to find in Wikipedia why. Now, obviously, it's a great cause. I'm not going to argue against it for sure. For sure, so much good has come from it. But why? Why did she choose that? Do you?
Well, I don't know for sure. I think, like I said earlier, I think a big part of it was there was a big cultural focus on early literacy that happened in the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sure, like, because it was so much in the forefront of her thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
like, to think back to, oh, that was a problem in my hometown. I can focus there and start there makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So yes, there's that. But I have a quote actually here that I'm going to try not to tear up.
Oh, Dan.
2, I'm also going to ask that everybody, if you know what her voice sounds like, she has an iconic voice and way of talking. Kind of imagine her saying this, and it's heartwarming.
You don't have a Dolly impression?
I don't have a Dolly Parton impression. I'm wanting to build her up and be like, this is great. And any impression that I could do would diminish that, and I don't want to do that.
Fair enough.
So, let's get to Google. Why did you do this to me? I had it. There we go.
You make fun of me when I write out paper notes, but that's why, because I would lose it in my phone for sure.
So,
somber face to hear your quote.
Okay. Google still did the thing. I had it saved, and it's gone.
It's gone. You built it up too much, babe.
I did. Let me go back. Maybe it's... I had it highlighted and everything.
Oh, Dan.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'll paraphrase it. Okay. She decided to focus on literacy once she was successful and could spend time doing that because her father was completely illiterate. And she viewed him always in high regard and a very intelligent man. But because the literacy education was so poor in his area, and the way that the economy was at the time when she was born, when he was born, he had to leave school to go work to support his family. and he never was taught to read. And she always thought, and the quote that sticks in my mind is, God, I wonder what he could have been, how he would have turned out if he knew how to read. And so she would think about that with seeing the illiteracy rates in her hometown, and that was something that she decided to make her life goal,
Passion project.
her passion project. So, yeah, I guess something to wrap up. We think a lot about our deficiencies. Everyone has things that we can work on. You don't necessarily know how that's going to impact somebody else. And so just if you see yourself struggling with something, know that maybe somebody's watching and is going to take that up as their own and do a lot of good because they see you struggling and trying. So even in this time right now that we're in, we see lots of people taking up causes. We see a lot of people doing good, trying to overshadow the bad, and that's wonderful. It's unfortunate that this is the circumstances that have happened, but we're working on it. So that's all I got.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. We're going to take a quick break.
Mm-hmm.
And that was our break. Good
Yep.
job.
We did it.
So you're back, and we are going to take a really quick second to talk about our cause again. Tonight we are taking donations and acknowledging your donations for causes within the Black Lives Matter
NAACP.
Or any bail fund that you want to donate to. And you can send us a screenshot of your donation, or Venmo or PayPal us some money, and we'll make a donation on your behalf, and you will be entered in our t-shirt giveaway.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and Bryn has arduously spent hours and hours working so hard to design a quality, nay,
Original?
artful,
It's not original.
and visually, aesthetically pleasing.
Now I have to design a new
Hold up.
shirt.
Upper body garment. I'm done now.
Okay, well, it is a t-shirt. No matter what, it is a t-shirt. And maybe I can personalize it. Whoever wins it, I can make it have their name or something on the back of it.
I'm not about to promise something.
Oh.
I've only done that once before.
Anyway, that's what we're working on tonight. Daniel and I will and have made some donations and will continue to. This is really important, and so we're urging our listeners to make donations as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's my turn to talk.
It is.
And I've decided to change my topic at the very last second.
What?
Is that allowed?
I mean, how am I going to stop you? Like, how would I know?
So I briefly looked up another musical entity, and I feel like the comparison is going to make this other person not look as good compared to Dolly Parton. And also, I didn't do very much research, and I feel like I'm jealous that you did Dolly Parton, and I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Wow. Okay.
So instead, I have to say something else for the next 10 to 15 minutes. And so I don't know what to talk about exactly. But I guess instead I can talk about Can I share a recipe? Is that something I can do?
You can do that.
I've done that before, and that feels a little weird too. But
I'm sorry that I stole your thunder. I didn't really.
there was no thunder to steal. I was very poorly researched, and there's zero excuse for it other than that I'm a terrible procrastinator and I'm like busy most of the time.
Well,
Uh,
again, you created and designed.
I briefly designed a t-shirt. That's another thing entirely. But instead, can I share a recipe?
You can do whatever you want to do.
You're really sweet. You're really sweet to me.
This tea is really sweet. I added way too much honey to it. That's called deflection. In case anybody was wondering, that's deflection.
Here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do for all of you. I'm going to let Daniel decide what recipe I'm going to share. What's something that I make that you think I should share the recipe or my general recipe for? Something that I made recently. I'm going to put you on the spot too.
There's some things that I feel like you can't share because they've been passed down. I'm like, I don't know if this is something you're allowed to share.
Like what?
Well, either, there's potato salad, there's cheesecake. Cheesecake.
I can talk about cheesecake.
Or yogurt.
Oh, I can talk about yogurt.
Yogurt is good.
So I've already done an episode where I like lauded the Instant Pot and how amazing and miraculous it is. And on that episode, I shared the mac and cheese recipe that I make through there, which was probably already giving away too many secrets because that's like a family recipe as well that I've tweaked. So, but I can talk about the yogurt recipe because it's actually super duper schmooper easy. Schmooper easy. And it's like all over the internet, so I'm not stealing anyone's thunder here.
And it's how many ingredients? It's easy in how to do it and also easy in what you need.
You can make it with 2 ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
You can make it with 3 ingredients. You can make it with 4 ingredients. It depends on exactly what you want. The recipe that I think we've like decided is the best is 4 ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
And that's taken us like about over a year to kind of decide what works exactly. The basic yogurt recipe, and if you have an Instant Pot with a yogurt button on it, it's unbelievably simple. The basic recipe is ultra pasteurized, ultra filtered milk. The brand name that I use is Fairlife, but there are other ones on the market. Ultra pasteurized, ultra filtered, because that process is what you need to do cold start yogurt. We can talk about warm incubated yogurt in a second, but cold start yogurt is ultra filtered, ultra pasteurized milk and starter. And for starter, you use like a heaping spoonful of a plain yogurt. Whisk it together, put it in your Instant Pot, hit the yogurt button, and forget about it for 8 hours. Put a lid on it, put it in the fridge, and forget about it for another 8 hours.
That's 2 ingredients.
That's what I'm saying. That's the basic recipe.
Okay. I understand now.
And then you have yogurt. That yogurt would be unsweetened, plain yogurt that you could use for recipes. You can use it in cooking. You can use it as a sour cream substitute. Any of those things. That's a very basic, plain cold start yogurt. The yogurt recipe that I make is, again, we played with this for a while and we tried different amounts of different things. But so I do a cold start, and it's a bottle of the milk, ultra pasteurized, ultra pasteurized, ultra filtered milk. Don't say that so fast, Bryn. An entire larger size bottle of, then it's pure.
Is it coffee mate?
It's coffee mate, Pure Bliss, Pure or something. They're all natural.
Yeah.
They're all natural creamer that is made with cream and sugar and flavoring. It's not oil based or artificially flavored or any of that. It's made of cream and sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And I have used both the vanilla flavor and the sweet cream flavor. Personally, I like the sweet cream flavor a little bit better. We've gone back and forth and we like them both.
Mm-hmm.
So a full bottle of the milk, a full larger bottle of the creamer, uh, a heaping spoonful of starter. The starter yogurt that I like the best is,
Oikos.
yeah, it's the Oikos, and I like to use the lemon. They suggest using a plainer flavor, but I always just use lemon because that's the kind of yogurt that we buy, and I think it works great. And then I also add between a third and a half a can of sweetened condensed milk. Whisk the crap out of it, put it in the Instant Pot, and hit the yogurt button. Forget about it for 8 hours. Put a lid on it, put it in the fridge. Forget about it for 8 hours. And then I have literally the thickest yogurt. You can like drop a spoon into it and it stays standing up. It's so thick. It looks like ice cream scoops.
And it actually, like, mouthfeel wise, tastes like ice cream that doesn't melt.
Yeah.
It's odd to eat it at first. It's a little bit, it doesn't taste weird. It tastes great, but like the consistency, you're like expecting something different when you.
It feels very like luscious and rich.
Yeah, yeah. And the kids, it's something that it's one thing when it gets the approval of us. It's another when it gets the approval of our kids, and it's also something else completely different when it gets the approval of all of your family. Like,
Yeah, my mom loves it, my brother loves it, like my dad likes it. It's really good. Um, Kennedy likes it with fruit. You like it with granola.
Yep.
I've been known to put like a little bit of honey on top. It's so good. It's so good. So that's how you make yogurt in the Instant Pot. Like, it's stupid easy. The traditional method, or the boil method, or the heat method, whatever you call it, of making yogurt, you can do it whether or not you have a yogurt button on your Instant Pot. So if you have some of the models that do not have a yogurt button, you still can make yogurt in your Instant Pot. You just have to follow the boil method. And basically, you can use any milk for that. So you can buy a gallon of milk that's just regularly pasteurized and homogenized, or use a gallon of raw milk, or whatever milk you normally use. And then you have to boil it to a very specific temperature. I'm not going to remember offhand because I didn't do research. I'm doing this all off the top of my head. You have to boil it a certain amount of time at a certain temperature, cool it completely, boil it again, and then start the yogurt process. It is not going to be as thick as a cold start because you're not using an ultra pasteurized, ultra filtered product at the beginning. It's probably going to require straining. Like I said, my yogurt is so thick, I never have to strain it, and I literally just drop a spoon in and it stands up straight.
Mm-hmm.
The traditional method does require a little bit of straining
Mm-hmm.
because it produces more whey because it's not ultra pasteurized.
Right. And by all means, if somebody has tried that, let us know. Tell us know how it turns out. We've done this because one, we're lazy, but two, because we tried it this way first, and it turned out so well. We're like, we don't need to try anything else. This is
so good.
So good.
So good. And I use jars with lids to store it, but I know people do it in Tupperware. People store it in people make their own like Go-Gurt tubes. There's those resealable tubes you can make, so it gives you a lot of options in that as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for a specific website to get you started, the recipe that I started with way back when I made yogurt for the first time almost 2 years ago was FridaLovesBread.com. Her cold start yogurt recipe was what I based all of my like little tweaks on. Her recipe and the comments below it. Look at that. I almost like I had it.
Yeah.
I have a website to send them to and everything.
That's awesome. So, my takeaway from this too is I wanted to say this was something that really intimidated you to start.
Yeah. Well, it's like, who makes homemade yogurt?
Who makes it? I brought some to work once, and people looked at me like, "You made that? Like, you did what?" And I was like, "Well, I didn't, and my wife did the most, but really, like, it kind of just does itself.
The
like,
Instant Pot does all the work.
Yeah, you don't really. It's not to dismiss, but it's so easy. Like,
It's very, very, very easy. And since then, I mean, because I stepped over that hurdle of making my own yogurt, we've now been able to make our own cheese, make our own bagels. We've been braver about trying things that are like, no, we can't do that. That's too hard. Because if we can make yogurt, we can do anything.
Yeah. And the cheese and the bagels, if you followed anything on our personal pages, you know that those turned out amazing.
Yeah, I probably should have talked about making cheese. Like, that's a way cooler process.
Well, and you could, dovetail that into the bagels because
Right,
there's a
because
connection
we
there.
we do make bagels after we make cheese because we like to use the whey for making cheese. WHEY, whey. We like to use the whey as the liquid portion of our bagel. It makes a huge difference. We made them without, and then we made them with, and it's way better. It's got a very like classic New York bagel taste.
Yep.
I also learned the trick of boiling the bagels in honey water.
Ooh, I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, so to get like real chewy New York style bagels, you have to boil them prior to baking them.
Yep.
And you're supposed to boil them in a water barley malt solution. But I obviously don't have barley malt here. And so substitution is honey.
Which we have for reasons.
For reasons, because Daniel loves his honey. And so, yeah, I add a half a cup of honey to my boil water.
Wow.
And that helps create a really nice sheen on them so that when they bake up, they're like crisp on the outside and chewy on the inside.
They're fantastic. I highly recommend it. Like, if you can make cinnamon rolls, like you've done as well.
Yeah.
But if you can make that, if you can make pizza dough.
Any type of like raised yeasty dough, like if you know how to do that, then you can make bagels.
You can make bagels.
I also use my Instant Pot for proofing dough, so
yeah. Again,
it's like Instant Pot episode 2.0. Like
pretty much
every season, Bryn's gonna start talking about the Instant Pot. That might actually be a thing.
That might be a thing.
That might be a thing. I really, really, really love my Instant Pot.
Yeah, it's been very helpful.
Really, I just need to get a second liner for it because I use it almost every day.
Well, like you said, the one downside with it is that it's a 16-hour process. It's a passive process. You're hardly doing anything in the process, but it's 16
my liner
hours.
is in use that whole time, and then I have to wash it after before I can cook something else. So.
Right. So, yeah, that's a full day.
Yeah.
So
that's what I got.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. And thanks for listening. Again, we're going to have our page up or video up. You can message us again with any donations.
I think probably like let's just pick a date. We'll take donation entries through the 10th.
What's today?
The 5th.
Sure.
Or do you want to go a full week? Do you want to go to next Friday?
Yeah, we'll go. I don't care.
We'll go to next Friday. We'll go to next Friday. Any donation that you make to Black Lives Matter, NWP, a bail fund, or a nonprofit working to advance the lives, wants, needs of people of color in your area or nationally.
You have lots of options.
You have lots of options. Make a donation. Send us a screenshot of your donation receipt, or Venmo or PayPal us some money, and we will make the donation for you and send you a screenshot of it. And then you'll be entered to win a t-shirt in your size, personalized with your name on the back, maybe.
That Bryn has worked so hard.
Stop.
Shirked her duties as a mother.
Will you stop?
And a spouse.
I shirked my duties as a spouse.
Alright, I went too far. I may have gone too far.
I mean, I regularly shirk my duties as a mother. That's why I have a husband.
It's true. That's what I'm for.
We're a team.
Yeah, that was the
Oh,
insinuation.
I didn't know if you were being sarcastic anymore.
No. I learned my lesson.
Good job.
Yeah.
That's all we got for you guys tonight. Thank you for listening. You can listen to us on so many platforms, wherever you're listening to us now. We appreciate it, but please check out our Facebook page or our YouTube page and click like or subscribe so that we know you're out there and we know that you love the content. Not necessarily us, but the content.
Mhm.
And we'll be back next week.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Stay safe. Stay well.